Welcome, Taylor Creek family. We're weaving in fine arts. So let me show you how we're doing this. Our third graders are weaving on a cardboard loom. So I've cut a small piece of cardboard and I've made 5 slots. You need uneven slots, about a 1/4 inch apart. You take your scissors and you just barely cut the slots, not deep. You don't want your string to go deep into your cardboard. You simply want your warp strings that you're going to add to your loom to not slip around. So the strings that go up and down are called the warp. And let me show you how to do that. Now I've pre-cut my string because I know how long to make it, but I recommend you don't cut your string. So decide what the back is and leave you some string hanging. This is the front. Now we're going to go down to our first slot, then go up around to your second slot, and then down to your second slot. Third slot, fourth, fifth, and fifth. So we're going around and around and around, and that's called warping. And now we're going to tie our beginning string and our ending string together until you get this. Now to weave in class, we're using the plastic needles like that's in the video. But if you're at home and don't have a plastic needle, you can either put tape on the end of your string like a shoelace, make it stiff, or I've taped a toothpick. So here's how we weave. We start either side, and you can go from the top down or the bottom up. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter where you weave because you can move your string. I like to tell my kids to go under first, third, and fifth. Now the toothpick's a little rough, so it's not as easy to use as my plastic needle. Pull it through until you have a little tail, and then decide which side you're weaving on and tuck it in. Now to return, we're going to go opposite. So we're going to go under the 2 strings that we did not go under last time. Pull it through. Now one of the keys is don't pull it tight. If you see your side, oh, that's too tight, back it up and then comb it down with your fingers. You're going to keep going until you fill your loom. Every time you are doing a pass, comb it down and compress it. And then when you fill your whole loom, you can turn it around, cut the strings right through the middle, and tie those 2 warps together to hold in your weft. The left and right pieces are called weft. It rhymes with left. Then you tie a leftover string of that knot with the next string, a leftover string with that knot with the next one, and so on until all the warp strings are tied to one another to create the fringe on the end of your rug. Now we are also in 4th and 5th grade weaving on a cardboard llama. So this llama was cut out of the pattern that's provided in the lesson plan. Here's the completed weave. So just like the little cardboard, you have 5 warps. And if you compress your wefts enough, you will not see your warp anymore. So push it down and comb it down. Now my littles, my seconds and unders are all weaving with paper. And here's one of my favorite ways to weave with paper, because now you're reinforcing odds and evens. I take a 1/2 of a page of cardstock, and these, I tell them this is the loom, and then we glue on our warps just on the top, so they're flapping like a car wash. You want them flapping, okay? So only glue them at the top, and then we number them 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these are our weft pieces that we add in. Now, one of the easiest ways to do that is to lift. You lift your warp pieces. So here's a extra weft, and I tell my students, lift, you can do it color-coded. I do this for pre-K, color-coded, but as they get older, we want to reinforce odds and evens. So let's do our odd numbers. We're going to go under, in this case, we've already just gone under our evens, so let's go under our odds. So we lift 1 and 3 and put our warp in there. And then now to even numbers. Lift your 2 and 4 warp, slide it in there. When we're all done, we tack it all down with glue, and then we talked about having a checker pattern when you're all done. Now, our second grade, they get to weave with a calendar page. So what we've done is we've created, out of construction paper, our loom. We made 8 warp pieces out of whatever colors they wanted, and then we took a calendar and we cut our calendar pieces one piece at a time. So I had pre-cut all of the warps, and then I let my students pick a calendar, or it could be a picture, or whatever you want, and then you just cut one piece, weave it in, and then you cut the other piece. Don't cut more than one, or now you've got a puzzle you got to put back together. So as you weave them, you can adjust it back and forth. See, some of these are attached, some of these are not. And then when you're all done, you have reassembled a checkerboard partial picture from your calendar. At the very end, I would tape these all down and trim it up the way I like it to make it look neat. So the terminology for weaving is loom, that's what we start on. Warp, which are the strings, in this case papers, that go up and down, and weft. And here's how I remember. Sometimes you go right, and then you go back weft. Got it? All right, so I hope you enjoy weaving. Reinforce some great vocabulary, odds and evens with your students. You can use complementary colors, colors across the color wheel. You can work into all sorts of lessons into the weaving lesson. I hope you enjoy weaving.